The most liberating truth you can embrace is this: you always have a choice. No matter what life throws at you, no matter the circumstances, you are never without power.
Life will challenge you, people will disappoint you, and obstacles will stand in your way, but through it all, you still get to choose. You can choose how you respond to every situation, how you react to every setback, and how you allow the world to influence your emotions. Your thoughts don't control you, you control them. In every moment, you have the power to decide whether you will remain trapped in negativity, fear, or doubt, or whether you will choose to rise above, to think differently, to see the possibility where others see the impossible. You can choose your attitude, you can choose your beliefs, you can choose what to focus on. No one can take that from you. When you realize the power of choice, you realize that you are not a passive player in your own life, you are the author of your story. The chapters you've lived so far may not have been perfect, but the next one is still in your hands. Every new moment offers a chance to make a different choice, to take control, to change the narrative. Choice doesn't always come easy. Sometimes it requires immense courage. Sometimes it feels safer to stay stuck in old patterns or to let the current of life push you along. But the truth is, choosing is what creates your freedom. When you make a choice, you are claiming your power. And when you stop letting circumstances dictate your state of mind, you start shaping your own destiny. You decide who you will become, what you will endure, and how you will show up in the world. Every day, your mind is a battleground. It's a place where thoughts, beliefs, and emotions clash for control over your actions, your perspective, and your life. It may not always look like a war on the surface, but deep within, the struggle is real. On one side, there's the voice that tells you you're not enough, that you'll never succeed, that you're too broken to be whole. On the other, there's a force pushing you to rise, to overcome, to remember your worth, and to embrace your power. You see, your mind doesn't just think passively. It actively works against you or for you, depending on which side you decide to feed. There are moments when negative thoughts flood in like soldiers marching in formation, filling your mind with doubt, fear, and insecurity. These thoughts don't need to be invited, they just arrive unannounced, and suddenly you're overwhelmed. But here's the secret: you can control the battlefield. You don't have to surrender to the negativity. You don't have to be at war with yourself. The key is in recognizing that not every thought that enters your mind needs to be entertained, acted on, or allowed to stay. Every thought is like a soldier marching through your consciousness. The question is, which soldiers will you invite in? Will you let the voices of fear, guilt, and anger take up space in your mind? Or will you choose to give room to the warriors of strength, peace, and determination? The battlefield is not just a place of conflict, it's a place of opportunity. Every day you can choose who wins the battle. When you feel the dark thoughts rising, you have the power to redirect them. When you feel fear creeping in, you can choose courage instead. But the real power lies in preparation. Just like a soldier prepares for war, you have to prepare your mind. You've got to fortify your thoughts with positive affirmations, with gratitude, with self-love. The fight is not about eliminating every negative thought. That's impossible. The battle is about who gets to stay in your mind. And when you actively choose to guard your thoughts, to replace the toxic with the positive, to confront the negative with action, you start to shift the momentum. The battle then is no longer about survival, but about victory. Victory over self-doubt, over fear, over the limiting beliefs that once held you hostage. The battlefield becomes your training ground for mental resilience and inner strength. In every moment, the battle rages, but you are not without resources. You are equipped with the power to fight back, to reclaim your peace, and to win the war inside. Self-awareness is the foundation of everything. It's the ability to step outside of yourself and observe your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions without judgment. It's the moment when you realize that you are not just the thoughts you think or the emotions you feel, but the observer of all of it. And in that awareness lies your power. You see, most people go through life on autopilot, reacting to situations and circumstances without ever really questioning why they're reacting the way they are. We get so caught up in the noise of the world and the rush of our day-to-day that we rarely take a moment to truly check in with ourselves. But self-awareness calls for you to stop, to breathe, and to ask yourself the hard questions: why do I feel this way? Why did I react like that? What is really going on inside me right now? When you become self-aware, you begin to understand the patterns in your behavior. You start to notice the triggers that send you into anger, fear, or sadness. You recognize the limiting beliefs that shape the way you see yourself in the world. And in that moment of realization, you take back control. Self-awareness is not about beating yourself up for your flaws or mistakes. It's about seeing yourself clearly so that you can make the conscious choice to grow, to heal, and to evolve. Imagine walking through life like a ship sailing on an ocean. Without self-awareness, you're just drifting along with the current, subject to the winds and waves, not knowing which direction you're heading. But with self-awareness, you're at the helm of the ship, steering yourself with intention. You're no longer a passenger in your own life, you are the captain. And as the captain, you understand that your thoughts and emotions are like the weather, they change, they shift, but they don't have to dictate where you're going. The key to self-awareness is mindfulness. It's the ability to slow down and be present in the moment. When you're truly aware of what's happening inside you, you can begin to make intentional choices rather than reacting blindly. You can observe your thoughts without letting them control you. You can witness your emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. You become less of a victim to life and more of a creator of your reality. Self-awareness also means being honest with yourself. It's about recognizing your strengths and your weaknesses, your dreams and your fears, and being willing to accept them all. It's about standing in your truth, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it challenges the image of who you think you should be. And in that space of radical honesty, you begin to release the mask you wear and embrace the authentic, unfiltered version of yourself. But self-awareness isn't just about looking inward, it's also about understanding how your thoughts, behaviors, and emotions impact the world around you. When you're aware of your own internal landscape, you start to recognize how your energy affects the people you interact with. You become more empathetic, more compassionate, and more connected. You realize that your actions ripple out into the world, and in that realization, you take more responsibility for the way you show up in life. Being self-aware is not a one-time event, it's a lifelong practice. Every moment offers a new opportunity to check in with yourself, to recalibrate, and to grow. It requires patience, it requires honesty, and it requires a willingness to face the parts of yourself that may be difficult or uncomfortable. But in doing so, you unlock the deepest level of freedom, the freedom to be yourself fully and unapologetically. Words are powerful. We often underestimate their impact, but make no mistake, every word you speak, every word you think carries weight. Words have the power to build or destroy, to heal or harm, to inspire or to limit. They shape our reality in ways we don't always recognize. The language we use with ourselves and with others creates the world we live in, for better or for worse. Consider the words you speak to yourself. How do you talk to yourself when things aren't going well? When you make a mistake, do you say, I'm a failure? Or do you say, I'm a failure? Or do you say, I made an error, but I can learn from this? The way you speak to yourself forms your self-image, your self-worth, and your beliefs about what you are capable of. If you constantly tell yourself you're not good enough, your mind will start to believe it. If you speak words of fear, doubt, and inadequacy, your mind will absorb them as truths, and you will act accordingly. But if you choose to speak words of encouragement, strength, and possibility, you give your mind the fuel it needs to rise above limitations and reach for greatness. The same goes for the words you speak about others. When we talk about people, we're not just describing them, we're creating them. Words like kind, generous, capable, or strong have the power to uplift someone, to affirm their worth, and to help them step into their fullest potential. On the other hand, words like lazy, stupid, or worthless can strip someone of their dignity and power. The language we use when we speak about others directly influences their perception of themselves and the way they show up in the world. Words don't just affect individuals, they shape entire communities, cultures, and societies. The language of a nation reflects its values, beliefs, and priorities. Look at the words used in the media, in politics, and in public discourse. Words that incite fear, division, or hatred can tear people apart. Words that promote understanding, unity, and love can bring people together. The collective language of a society has the power to either heal wounds or perpetuate injustice. The words we use also have a profound impact on our actions. Have you ever noticed how a positive affirmation can shift your mindset in an instant? Words like I can do this or I am enough can change your entire perspective, giving you the confidence to take bold action. On the flip side, words of self-doubt or negativity can paralyze you. The mind is deeply influenced by language and it responds to the words we speak. If we want to change our behavior, we must first change the words we use. One of the most powerful forms of language is intention. When you speak with intention, you align your words with your deepest values and desires. Words spoken with intention are far more than just sounds. They become powerful declarations of your will, your direction, and your vision for the future. When you speak your truth with clarity and purpose, you manifest it into reality. This is why it's so important to be mindful of the words you use. Don't just speak from habit or impulse, speak with the intention to create something meaningful. The energy of words also comes into play when we consider the way we communicate with the world. Think about the tone in which you say something. A word like sorry can either be a shallow, meaningless apology, or it can be an earnest expression of regret, depending on the energy with which it's spoken. The words we choose, the way we deliver them, and the intention behind them are all forms of energy that can either uplift or drain. Words also hold the power to create the future. When you say things like, I can't do this, or it will never happen, you are planting seeds of defeat. But when you speak words of possibility, I am capable, I will find a way, my future is full of potential. You are not just speaking to the present moment. You are casting a vision for what's to come. Words are like the blueprint for the life you want to build. What you speak today can become your reality tomorrow. In addition to the spoken word, let's not forget the words we think. Our internal dialogue is just as powerful, if not more so, than the words we speak aloud. We all have a voice in our heads that narrates our lives, and for many of us, it's a voice full of criticism, judgment, and negativity. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you don't deserve success, or that you'll never change, those thoughts will eventually manifest in your actions. But the moment you start to shift that internal dialogue, the moment you choose to speak kindly to yourself, to affirm your worth, to encourage yourself, you begin to change your world from the inside out. Positive thoughts lead to positive actions. Negative thoughts lead to self-sabotage. And the beauty of it all is that we have the power to change the words we use. We can choose to speak life instead of death. We can choose to speak peace instead of chaos. We can choose to speak love instead of fear. We are the architects of our own reality, and the words we speak are the tools we use to build it. So choose your words wisely. Speak them with intention, with power, and with love. Speak to yourself like you're the most important person in your life, because you are. Speak to others like they matter, because they do. Speak your future into existence, because it's waiting for you. Visualization is one of the most powerful tools you have at your disposal. It is the practice of creating a mental image of your goals, dreams, and desires. It's the ability to see in vivid detail the future you want to create before it has even happened. And the beauty of visualization is that it doesn't just stay in your mind. It has the power to move you into action, to motivate you, and to guide you towards your desired outcome. When you visualize, you're not merely daydreaming. You're actively programming your mind for success. The mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. This means that when you vividly imagine yourself achieving your goals, your brain treats it as if it's already happening. It begins to form neural pathways that support the belief that your dreams are possible. It fuels your desire and sharpens your focus. You start to feel the emotions of success, the excitement of reaching your goals, and the satisfaction of fulfillment, all in your mind. And these feelings, these emotions are what will push you into action in the real world. Focus is the other side of the coin. Without focus, visualization remains a dream. With focus, it becomes a plan. Focus is about intentionally directing your energy, time, and attention toward the things that matter most. It's about blocking out distractions, eliminating noise, and honing in on what truly serves your purpose. Focus allows you to zero in on the target, while the distractions of life try to pull you away. It is the discipline to stay the course, even when it's tempting to stray, even when obstacles arise. Think about it like a magnifying glass. If you hold it too close to something, the light is scattered and it has no real impact. But if you hold that same magnifying glass steady and focused on one point, the intensity of the light becomes sharp and powerful. Your goals are like that focal point. Without focus, your energy is scattered and diluted. But with a clear and focused mind, your energy becomes laser-like, cutting through the obstacles that stand in your way. Visualization and focus are deeply intertwined. One enhances the other. When you visualize clearly and in detail, you give your mind a roadmap, a clear vision of where you want to go. But without focus, that roadmap is nothing more than a distant dream. It's the same as setting sail for a destination, but constantly changing course. Focus is what keeps you on track. It's what allows you to follow that roadmap, to take the right steps, and to stay committed to the journey, even when the path gets rough. When you visualize, immerse yourself in the experience. Don't just picture the end result, see the process. What does it feel like to take the first step? What emotions rise as you overcome each obstacle? How does it feel to persist in the face of challenges? When you engage with your vision on an emotional level, your mind begins to treat it as a reality. And when your emotions are aligned with your goals, you will act with a sense of purpose and clarity. The vision becomes more than just an image, it becomes a call to action. Focus, on the other hand, is what will ensure that you don't lose sight of that vision. It's easy to get distracted in a world full of noise. Every day we are bombarded by messages, people, and obligations that pull us in different directions. But true success comes when we can block out the external noise and concentrate on what really matters. Focus requires discipline and commitment. It requires saying no to things that don't serve your vision and saying yes to the things that move you closer to your goals. When you combine visualization with focus, you harness the full power of your mind. You begin to see your success before it happens, and then you stay focused on it until it becomes reality. Your mind will naturally start to seek opportunities, resources, and solutions that align with your vision. Doors that once seemed closed will begin to open, and paths that seemed unclear will become illuminated.
This combination is not just about wishing for your goals to manifest, it's about aligning your thoughts with action. Focus fuels your commitment, and visualization fuels your belief. One without the other leaves you either dreaming without doing or doing without clarity.
But when you unite them, you get the power to turn dreams into reality. Your vision is the map, and focus is the compass. Together they guide you toward the life you want to create. Fear is something we all experience, yet it is often misunderstood. Many people think that fear is something that holds us back, something we need to avoid or eliminate. But the truth is, fear is not your enemy. It's not something you need to fight against, but something you need to learn to navigate, to understand, and to use as a tool for growth. Fear is simply an emotion, a signal from your body that you're stepping into unknown territory. It's a natural reaction to change, to uncertainty, and to the challenges that come with pursuing your dreams. But fear, when faced with courage and understanding, can become the very thing that propels you forward. Fear often arises when we stand on the edge of something new, whether it's taking on a new project, starting a new relationship, or making a bold decision. And while fear may try to paralyze us, the truth is that fear only has power over you when you allow it to. When you allow fear to dictate your actions, it will keep you in a state of stagnation, of playing small, of never reaching your full potential. But when you decide to face fear, to acknowledge its presence without letting it control you, it loses its grip. The first step in overcoming fear is acknowledging it. Most of the time, fear thrives in the shadows of our mind, growing more intimidating the longer we avoid it. We imagine the worst case scenarios, we make assumptions, and we allow ourselves to spiral into anxiety. But the moment you shine a light on that fear, the moment you face it head on, you realize that it's often not as powerful as it seemed. By acknowledging your fear, you take away its power. You stop running from it, and instead you stand in its presence. You breathe through it, and you recognize that fear is just another feeling. It does not define you. Once you've acknowledged fear, the next step is to shift your perspective. Instead of seeing fear as a threat, view it as an opportunity. Fear is a sign that you're pushing your boundaries, that you're stepping into growth. It's a signal that you're moving towards something greater. Every time you face fear and choose to take action despite it, you build resilience. You show your mind and body that fear is not something to be feared, but something to be overcome. Fear becomes less of a barrier and more of a stepping stone to your success. One of the most powerful ways to overcome fear is through action. Often we think that we need to feel completely confident or completely ready before taking the first step. But the reality is, you will rarely feel ready before you act. Confidence comes through action, not in waiting for the right moment. The more you push through your fear, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. Each small step forward, no matter how shaky or uncertain, weakens the hold that fear has over you. It shows you that you are stronger than the doubts, stronger than the what-ifs, and more than capable of handling challenges. When fear tries to hold you back, remember this: courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is moving forward in spite of it. It's acting, not because you have no fear, but because you choose not to let it stop you. Fear is a feeling, not a fact. And while fear may never completely go away, it's a part of being human. You can choose to transform it from something that paralyzes you into something that propels you forward. Another way to overcome fear is by changing the narrative in your mind. Often the fear we feel is rooted in the stories we tell ourselves. We think about all the things that could go wrong, all the reasons why we might fail. But those stories are just thoughts, they are not facts. To overcome fear, you need to rewrite the story. Instead of focusing on the potential for failure, focus on the possibilities of success. Instead of seeing yourself as inadequate or incapable, see yourself as strong, resourceful, and resilient. Reframe the fear, and you will see that the obstacles ahead are not as insurmountable as they once seemed. Fear also thrives on uncertainty. When you're unsure about the outcome of something, fear steps in to fill the void. But the key to overcoming this type of fear is embracing uncertainty. Understand that life is not meant to be fully predictable, and the unknown is where growth happens. You will never have all the answers, and the path forward will often be unclear. But if you can embrace that uncertainty rather than resist it, you take away the power that fear has over you. You realize that uncertainty is simply a canvas for possibility. In the unknown, there is room for expansion, for learning, for transformation. When you lean into the uncertainty, you begin to see it as a space of opportunity rather than a source of dread. Finally, remember that fear is often rooted in the future. It's not the present moment that is threatening, it's the idea of what might happen. Fear is fueled by speculation, by imagining a future that hasn't happened yet. The more you focus on the what ifs of failure, rejection, or disappointment, the more fear grows. But when you bring yourself back to the present moment, when you focus on what you can control right now, fear starts to shrink. Stay in the present, and fear loses its power because it has no place in the now. When you focus on what you can do today, on the actions you can take in the present, the future doesn't seem so overwhelming. The only moment that matters is the one you're in. Fear is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to control you. It can be a signal, a reminder that you are on the edge of something new, something transformative. By acknowledging it, shifting your perspective, taking action, and focusing on the present, you can turn fear into a catalyst for growth rather than a barrier to success. Fear only has as much power as you give it. It's not about eliminating fear from your life, but about learning how to use it as fuel to propel you forward into your greatest potential.